Coming up on this week's episode of Flashtalk, Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Operations David Rush talks about the upgrades here at KSU. Dane Does returns this time. Kent State Baseball, new Director of Athletic Communications here at Kent State, Josh Padilla, talks about his new role overseeing the department. And finally, Kent State Lacrosse head coach Brianne Tierney joins the show. All that and more coming up in a flash. Welcome into Flash Talk. Dane Richardson joined alongside Kent State Assistant Athletic Director for Facilities and Operations, David Rush. David, appreciate you joining me here on Flash Talk. And I know coming up this summer, you have a summer project every single year, and this one's a pretty big one involving the MACC Center.
We try to, within the MACC Center and with all of our athletic facilities that we have, you've got the big capital projects that is a lot of money, usually takes some type of donor involvement, university funds to kind of help us, push that through. And you also have smaller projects that we just try to update things, make it look a little bit nicer in the MACC Center. It's a nice old arena. We want to keep that historic vibe, but we also want to update it with the times as well. So this project is on the latter side, that big scale project that we're going to have an awesome time with. And to give you a little bit of the full picture, so in the unveiling, we're going to have a brand new MACC Center court. But so the big thing for all of you longtime Flash fans, so 2017, we unveiled the lightning bolts. So kind of the staple that ESPN picked up on. I won't say what they called those lightning bolts, but, really kind of put Kent State, I feel like, on the map with the lightning bolts and how it looked and just the wow factor. With that, kind of get into the nerdy facility side, that is still the same floor that was put in the 1990s. We're kind of on that last life. So what they do, if you look at this table right here, and you had all the finish, all the paint that was before pre-2017, they sanded all the way down to its fresh wood, and then they paint it with the graphics that we have, and then you put down finish. So you're still playing on that same wood that you were playing on in the 1990s, which at the time, Cadillac. I mean, it was top of the line, really awesome technology. 2017 and beyond, getting a little bit dated. And really, when you're looking at athletes that are playing on the court, you're looking at shock absorption, you're looking at vibration, deflection. So if we're jumping up to get a rebound or jumping up to get a spike, I want to have my landing not affect your landing. Of course. And my muscles to not feel the full brunt of that force. A couple of years back, we had our development center. So our basketball and volleyball development center, which is our practice facility for a lot of different teams. We use that as the baseline of what kind of court we wanted to look and replicate off of. It's not just basketball. It's not just volleyball. We've got wrestling there. We've got gymnastics. We have convocations. We've got graduations. All these different events. We need a court that can do everything, but still have a very high level performance. So we've replicated our development center court. So now we have two courts that are going to be identical in performance, that athletes can go in there and train and not have any difference between the courts, which is going to be really awesome, something we're really excited about.
What goes into game day operations for, say, a football game, which is coming up again, the 2025 season, just August 30th, game number 1.
We're starting right now, so we get the schedule laid out. We have our unit, which I love and is near and dear to my heart, facilities and operations. I have 2 full-time guys, Forrest Donahue and Dustin James, and we have 4 graduate assistants that we get for 2 years. And we really try to give them the most knowledge and hands-on experience that we possibly can. So they run a lot of the events that you're not thinking, like a football that is very high-end. They're running baseball, softball, some basketball as well, but everything else that they can kind of take that full grip on. With football, this is a huge operation. It takes months and months of preparation, the coordination, the planning to just know everything going down the line that we're set from the field, the turf maintenance, preseason to get that all lined up. Our Van Wagner corporate partners, we've got, all those signage and logos that we need to freshen up, make it look perfect, make it look beautiful. But then once you start getting into the fall and the summer, how do we get all these units together? What are we going to capitalize and highlight for the game days, whether it's parents and family? whether it's homecoming, all those different things. It's not just a football game. You have to make sure that football game has the integrity that it needs, and the focus and the rules and everything that goes through is spot on, and we don't lose sight of, hey, we have 4 quarters. We need to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
It takes a whole team, and with this guy, professionalism at its finest. That's Assistant Athletic Director for Facilities and Operations at Kent State, David Rush. We appreciate the time, my friend.
Thank you.
As you know, Kent State Athletics, our basketball team has historically been a huge part of our athletic department. We have a winning tradition. We always bring a great game. But in today's day and age, the basketball game itself isn't going to entice the average fan. We really need to come over the top. We need to do these exciting things like they do in professional sports. And without sponsors or partners like Ken Ganley, we wouldn't be able to afford to do like tonight, the esports night with the Ken Ganley game room. Also being able to do the $10,000 putt at halftime that they're supporting. So those types of things help us advertise and get out into the community and maybe reach people who are not just the average basketball fan. They also help us out off the court. So many of our faculty, our staff, and our coaching know that they can go to Ken Ganley Chevrolet, get themselves a vehicle in a short amount of time without having to shop everywhere. They're so important to us on so many levels that we're just so grateful that they're a part of our family, and I don't know how we would live without them.
What's up, guys? Welcome into another edition of Dane Does. Dane Richardson alongside Kent State Director of Pitching Development, Cade McClure, and Kent State right-hander, Ben Rabatin. They're going to show me what it's like on the everyday to be a Division I pitcher. Probably tire out my left arm a little bit. Guys, ready to go?
Absolutely. For the pre-stretch, always got to start with the hammy scoops. Nothing better than getting these hamstrings loose early in the morning.
Now, Ben, how much different is it when you went into college than, say, high school in terms of your pre-throwing routine, all that type of stuff?
Do some quad pulls. Coming out of high school as a starter, so having to adjust to the bullpen definitely adjusted to how quickly I needed to get ready. So had to learn how to get hot quick on the fly.
Being in the bullpen a little bit more, has that seen an uptick in velocity where you know you're going shorter innings so you can throw a little bit harder?
Yeah, for sure. A little quick jog down and back will be good.
All right.
He's going to go out on his front leg, and he's going to do some water back shifts. So he's going side to side, transferring the weight, working on balance, stability, core, working from the ankle up, really just focusing on landing on finishing that pitch. We always want to focus on finishing forward towards our target, not peeling off left or right.
Now, how often do these guys do this every single week? I'm struggling to keep my balance here, but.
Yeah, so pre-practice every day. Each guy's kind of has their own pre-throw routine. Some guys need more balance work than others. Some guys need more this than that. So it's kind of based on whatever you feel like you need.
How important is balance for pitchers?
Repeating mechanics, delivery. If you think about it, if you're not able to repeat, step 1 through 3, 4, 5, however you want to break it down, your delivery may be different, the ball coming out of your hand may be different from pitch to pitch, and ultimately your ability to throw strikes on a consistent basis will be altered. Set as you're facing first base, you're going to lift, you're going to kind of gate that front hip a little bit, and as your gate comes, you punch. Yep.
Ooh.
For a balance standpoint, try lifting your knee to about 90 degrees.
Okay.
So your counter movement is a little easier.
We're trying to keep our balance. It makes me appreciate some of the pitchers are athletes too, aren't they?
That's a fact. I mean, I've been saying it for years.
What we saw Jake Bean do a couple weeks ago, that probably should have been on SportsCenter top 10 hopping off the mound like that.
Incredible. And in the position, players will argue if you just would have caught it the first time, you wouldn't have had to do that. But guess what? The play was made, the out was made ultimately. You're going to take one step backwards, so your momentum shifts back. You're going to lift up right into it like you're throwing a pitch, punch, and finish.
Cade told me a little bit before we started shooting this, he was a little worried about my shoulder hurting so much tomorrow. Honestly, I told him, if it hurts tomorrow, it's worth it. It's good for the camera.
There's always pro tryouts, you could always give a shot. I played with Paul Skeens this past year when I was with the Pirates, and he was a huge advocate for a lot of this stuff. So he was really cool just kind of see and just lift and hold for like maybe 4 or 5 seconds, find that balance.
Ooh, interesting.
There you go. Again, try to work that knee up to like a 90-degree angle so your counterbalance pretty good. All right, so if you feel comfortable enough, just do like what we call a dry rep. So kind of what Ben was doing, just finishing through. You can use your arm if you want, but it's all about that shoulder rotation and sticking that landing. There you go. You'll finish it out. There you go.
It's harder than it looks, folks.
Do you know what a white baseball is called?
I do not.
It is called a pearl.
Why is it called? Just because it's shiny?
When you open a shell, you see a white looking round thing on a necklace, it's a pearl. I'm gonna give you a pearl. All right, so first one, we'll just do some nice and easy wrist flips. So you'll stack up your arm here nice and tall, and we're just gonna roll it off just like you're flicking a dart.
Ben, do you have a specific catch partner that you're always with every day?
When Gavin Jones isn't starting, Gavin Jones.
Gavin Jones, interesting. So what have you seen from Gavin throughout the season?
We definitely have similar philosophies in terms of throwing, and we can each identify each other's mistakes to keep us sharp.
You have similar philosophies. What is that philosophy?
Throw hard and throw often.
Throw hard, throw often, very simple. Is that something you like to do? You like to keep it simple when you're out in the mound, not think about too much?
Yeah.
Or is that something that Kate emphasizes as well?
Kind of something I just grew up with. The more simple that it is, the more simple it's going to be. If you think too much, your thoughts are just going to be everywhere, and you got to be focused on that one direct target.
Now, I know you're throwing soft to me, you're being accurate right now. Do you try and up the velocity a little bit more in catch when you're playing with Gavin, Ben?
Yeah, 100%.
Out of 100%, what are you usually going here?
Most days be right around 90 miles an hour.
You know, I'm glad you're not throwing 90 miles an hour at me. I'm not sure I would be able to hold that in.
All right, so we'll do 2 little activation drills and we'll get right into it. So we'll do very similar to what we did out there, and on the mound, we'll just do our step back drill to kind of get the slope activated. So we're gonna step back, lift up, and just nice and easy throw it out through to Ben here.
Oh!
Ben with the catch of the day. There it is. That is the
I think
one.
that's the first strike I've thrown all day. How about that?
Just in time, because the reason I say that is, it's now bottom of the 9th. It's the World Series.
Okay, game 7.
Game 7, the bases happen to be loaded, and the count is full. No pressure, take it away.
This is the moment I dreamed of in my backyard, guys.
And he throws an absolute seed to finish the day. I was worried it was gonna be Dane tried, but Dane does.
Cade McClure, Ben Rabatten, guys, I had a blast.
I think you can do so much from traveling the world. So many people just stay in the box that we live in.
The study abroad program at Kent State made it clear what path I should be taking.
Experiencing the different classes to experiencing the art and the buildings and the culture. I'm just hoping to take back everything I've learned and be able to apply it into whatever I do in the future.
Kent State has basically helped to set up the vision for the career that I want to be able to go through.
Joined on Flash Talk by new Director of Athletic Communications here at Kent State, Josh Padilla. Josh, appreciate you joining me here on the show. And you've been here for about 2 months now. What's been sort of your favorite thing about the environment so far at KSU?
Honestly, I've loved the basketball games. There was fun atmospheres. Met some pretty awesome people. Met Superfan. She was awesome. So it was a great experience walking into my office and meeting her for the first time, and then just seeing her the energy that she brings on game days, as well as other fans. It's a really good basketball atmosphere, and that was one of the first events I got to experience coming here, and it was awesome.
You recently worked at Florida A&M, so tell me what brought you here to KSU to lead everyone in the AFCOM department, including myself.
I've worked at Middle Tennessee State. I've worked at Florida International University. Going from FAMU up to this level, I feel is a great opportunity and a great challenge for myself to grow, within my career, while also getting the opportunity to move to a different part of the United States. I've never lived further north than Tennessee.
Tell me a little bit about your time at FAMU and what it was like working at an HBCU and what you learned.
My time at FAMU was awesome. I truly enjoyed, a lot of the student athletes and coaches relationships I've built while there, and then really just building up their digital communications, brand per se, competing with a lot of FBS, schools with all of these resources, with such low resources to really grow their kind of social media, and then just communications. But they have a really good, strong fan base as well, very intense. And I love just a lot of winning that was done while I was there.
You come here as kind of a social media guru, so to say. So what do you think is the biggest thing, especially for a mid-major athletic department, in growing their brand, getting more views, and getting more followers?
One, consistency, being consistent with posting, and trying to really just show off more so student athletes and their personalities, not even just so much on the field, but maybe off the field or court, because they're very we probably have some very fun, entertaining student athletes. So being able to showcase them so fans and people that may not be fans will become fans because they kind of have an attachment to a particular person.
Josh, of course, oversees the entire athletic communications department, but specifically you are the sports information director for Kent State football. So coming up this fall, what are you most excited about for the Flashes?
Probably getting to see, what it looks like with, someone else leading. And, the guys seem to really kind of buy in and enjoy, Coach Carney and the energy that he's bringing. So, being able to do that, and truly look forward to experience my first game in Dick Stadium, August 30th versus Merrimack.
Oh, yeah.
And then I, look forward to returning back to Tallahassee when we play FSU. So that'll be fun, going to Doak Campbell. And then just, experience the midweek MACC. That's something unique in itself that, I never experienced playing working a football game on a Tuesday or Wednesday before. So that'll be fun and exciting, and just look forward to the season.
Tell us a little bit about who you are personally. I know you're a Dirty Birds fan, Atlanta Falcons. So tell us a little bit.
I was actually born in Germany.
How about that?
Yeah, but parents were in the Army. Grew up, lived most of my life in Tampa. Went to undergrad in Miami at FIU. Like you said, big Dirty Birds fan. And, I like the Hawks. Big LeBron James fan. LeBron's the GOAT. And, that's part of the reason I came up here. No, I'm just kidding. But, so that's it, really.
The man behind all the madness here at Kent State. That's new Director of Athletic Communications here at KSU, Josh Padilla. Josh, thanks so much for the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Coming up this week in Kent State Athletics, brought to you by KSU Ticks. Baseball starts a big 3-game series at Schoonover Stadium against the school down the road, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Softball begins a 3-game set at Western Michigan with 1 game Friday and then a doubleheader on Saturday. Lacrosse wraps up the regular season on Senior Day against Youngstown State with a 1 p.m. first draw at Dick Stadium. Men's golf competes in the MACC Championship Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday in Columbus, Ohio. And finally, on Tuesday, softball is at Divine Diamond for a doubleheader against Toledo. First pitch of Game 1 is at 1 p.m. And baseball hosts Pitt Johnstown for a 6 p.m. first pitch at Schoonover Stadium. As always, you can buy your tickets at ksutix.com. If you want more information on your favorite Flashes teams, visit kentstatesports.com or go to the Go Flashes app. We'll be back with more right after this.
When it comes to reaching your goals, having the right support can make all the difference. That's why we trust Green Lending, Kent State Athletics' exclusive mortgage partner, to help you achieve your home ownership dreams.
Just like on the court, everyone has a role to play. With the right teammates, any dream is possible. Green Lending is here to be that support to help you make those big moves in life.
Visit greenlending.com and let Green Lending help turn your dreams into reality.
Green Lending, helping Golden Flashes achieve their biggest dreams on and off the court.
The Army was my home, and I loved it. It gave me a lot of opportunity. Kent State has been probably the most friendly when it comes to veterans. So far, I'm 4.0 student. Most of it's been because of the help of the professors. Now that I'm older and I want to learn, I feel like I'm learning more, faster, and it's a lot more fun.
Joined here on Flashtalk by Kent State Lacrosse head coach Brianne Tierney. Coach, appreciate you joining me. And coming off a close OT loss against Robert Morris, showed a lot of fight in that fourth quarter coming back. What can you say about that late fourth quarter push?
We played our best, and even with the lightning delay, you worry a little bit, but that's where our team is the best. Bringing back energy, making adjustments, spending that time in the locker room for 20 minutes together, could hurt some teams. I think for us, it was a great time to regroup. Okay, we're down by 2 with almost 6 minutes left on the clock. We can do this, and just pumping them up, getting them excited about that. We had our chances in overtime and just couldn't convert. Had a tough shooting day overall, but defense played great, kept giving us opportunities, and really proud of them for how they came out of the lightning delay.
Specifically holding a solid Robert Morris team to only 8 goals, 7 in regulation. Mm-hmm. What was it about your defense that was clicking in that contest?
I think all the things we just prepared for, crashing hard, not fouling so much, and really playing good disciplined defense. Getting draws was huge, so we were getting a lot of possessions that, kept the ball in our sticks and not Robert Morris's. So just a good day overall. I mean, we didn't come out on top, but again, we played our hardest. We played our best. Maybe some more shots could have fell, but I'm proud of how we kind of wrapped up that game.
Senior day coming up against Youngstown State. So specifically with this senior class, what have they meant to this program and what have they meant to you?
I've been thinking a lot about them. I think there's such a diverse group in terms of how they lead and how they act. And the combination of them is almost like the perfect teammate or the perfect class, because they all bring something different to the table. And we're just so proud of where they've come from freshman to senior year. They've all had very different journeys, and they've left the place better than where it started.
We've talked about this before. How much hope does it give you knowing that there's a lot of starters that are going to be returning, that are going to make a big, big impact in years to come? That's
what I've been also thinking a lot about. I mean, with the loss of Sydney Deering at the draw, that's going to be tough kind of role to fill. And I think we've suffered some losses this year to create some wins in the coming years, because we're playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores, and that's kind of cool to be able to look to the future. It's not not what the seniors want, but for us looking forward, we're getting them some really important in-game experience that'll pay off in 2-3 years.
Tell us about some of the incoming recruits and the recruiting class that you guys have and what you're excited about that high school class of 2025.
Yeah, so we're bringing in 6 and as 5 leave, and just excited for another legacy. Megan Kaywood was my first commit ever, and her little sister Ashlyn's coming in. So that's super exciting. Keep the Kaywood family in with us. And Ella Jones is coming from California, and Becca Yoder is a local Jackson kid who brings a lot of speed and energy to the group. So those are just a few of kind of our incoming. We're bringing in another goalie in Grace Herbert. She's a local Ohio kid, has been coming to our camps and clinics since she was in 8th grade. So it's cool to keep those guys in local.
Coming up against Youngstown State, what are some of the things that you need to key in on? Because on paper, it looks like you guys should come out on top, and you've been right there in a couple of MACC games.
Leaning into the emotions of the last game, and there's not a lot of teams in the country that get to win in their last game, and so kind of lean into that and the emotion of senior day. And I think the worrisome part about Youngstown State is they score a lot of goals. So we have to have lots of possessions, good, smart possessions, and end on a goal with all of them. So it's a good challenge for us, and we're excited to be able to play one more game.
Zeta Crumpton, she had 4 goals against Robert Morris. Where have you seen her growth from year 1 to year 2 to year 3? And what are you expecting out of her as she approaches probably what's going to be a spectacular senior season?
She's just so no nonsense in how hard she works and what she puts and gives every day. And she just is unflustered on the field. You can't kind of break her confidence, or, other teams have a really tough time just stopping her. She's so good on the draw control. She's so good defensively, and she's really kind of stepped up her shooting game this year. Hoping to get somebody who can support her a little bit offensively more her going into next year so that she doesn't feel as much pressure maybe down there. But she's going to be a great senior leader for us.
And that's Kent State Lacrosse head coach Brianne Tierney. Coach, we always appreciate the time.
Thank you. Go Flashes.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Flash Talk. Make sure you tune in one final time next week for our spring season finale. For our entire GFTV studio, Ethan Lachinsky, Justin Spots, I'm Dane Richardson saying good night and go Flashes.
For every just one more mile to your next ace on the court, when you have a sports-related injury, Cleveland Clinic is here. For our Cavaliers, our Guardians, and athletes at all levels, our sports medicine team helps keep you in the game. With expert diagnosis, personalized sports therapies, and game-changing surgeries. For every injury, for every athlete, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
Today, the world could use a little more understanding. Understanding nurtured by shared values. We come together at Kent State. Different dreams, different viewpoints, united by purpose. Preparing to make a difference in our divided world. Wherever you are in your life's journey, come learn with us. Begin at Kent State.